Stop, don't spend that $50 yet. Because the coin you're about to use could be worth far more than 50 cents, and most people never check. Right now, there are Kennedy $50 hiding in circulation that collectors are searching for, and some of them are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The first thing you need to check is silver. Some $50 were made with real silver, and you can spot them by looking at the edge. If there's no copper line, you might be holding a silver coin. That alone can multiply its value instantly. Next, errors. Small mint mistakes like doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual marks can turn an ordinary coin into serious money. But here's the problem: most people think these are just damaged coins, so they spend them. Then there's condition. A clean, sharp coin with strong details can be worth many times more than a worn one. Even a small difference in quality can mean the difference between face value and real profit. And finally, rare varieties. Some Kennedy $50 were produced in special versions or limited numbers. These coins are harder to find, and collectors are willing to pay big money for them. Now think about this. You could be holding one of these coins right now, and you wouldn't even know it. And once you spend it, it's gone forever. So, before you use your next $50, stop, check the edge, look for errors, examine the details, because that one coin could be the one everyone else. Stop before you ignore this coin. You need to look again, because that 1990 D. Kennedy $50 sitting in your collection, or even your pocket, might not be just 50 cents. And most people never realize what they're holding until it's too late. Every single day, coins with hidden value are being overlooked. People assume newer coins don't matter. They think only old coins are valuable. And because of that belief, they miss opportunities right in front of them. The 1990 D. Kennedy $50 is one of those coins that gets ignored. It doesn't look rare. It doesn't look special. But that's exactly why so many valuable examples are still out there, waiting to be discovered. This coin was minted in Denver, marked with a small D under the ear. Millions were made, and when people hear that, they immediately think, it's common. But here's the truth. Not all coins are equal. Even if millions were made, only a small number survive in high condition, and that's where the value begins. Condition is everything. A heavily worn coin with scratches and dull details is usually worth face value, but a coin that looks sharp, clean, and almost untouched, that's a completely different story. Collectors are always searching for high-grade coins. Coins with strong details, no major marks, and original luster. These coins stand out. And here's the part most people don't understand. The difference between an average coin and a high-grade coin can be huge. One might be worth 50 cents. The other could be worth many times more. And the only difference is how well it was preserved. Now think about this. Most 1990 D $50 were used in everyday transactions. They were dropped, scratched, and worn over time. That means truly clean examples are much harder to find today, and that scarcity creates demand. But condition is only the beginning, because the real surprises often come from something unexpected. Errors. Mint errors happen during the production process. These are mistakes made when the coin is struck. And while they may look like damage, collectors know they can be extremely valuable. Some coins show doubling. That means parts of the design appear slightly duplicated. You might notice it in the letters, the date, or the portrait. Other coins may be struck off-center. The design isn't perfectly aligned, leaving part of the coin blank. There can also be die cracks, where lines appear on the surface of the coin, or weak strikes where certain details are missing or faded. These small details might seem insignificant, but to a collector, they can make a coin special. And special means valuable. But here's the danger. Most people don't recognize errors. They think it's just damage, so they ignore it, or worse, they spend it. And once that coin is gone, it's gone forever. Now, let's talk about something that can completely change how you see this coin: brilliance. When a coin is freshly minted, it has a bright, reflective surface. This is called mint luster. Over time, that shine fades as the coin circulates. But if you find a 1990 D $50 that still has that original shine, That's a sign it hasn't been used much. And that's exactly what collectors want. A coin that looks as close to new as possible. Because once that shine is gone, it never comes back. And that's why uncirculated coins are so important. Now imagine finding a coin that's over 30 years old, and it still looks brand new. That's not common. And that's where the value is hiding. But there's more. Some coins were never meant for circulation at all. These are special versions made with extra care. While most 1990 D coins were struck for everyday use, there are also coins from sets that were handled more carefully. These coins often have better quality, sharper details, and fewer marks. If one of these coins ends up in circulation, that's a huge opportunity, because most people won't recognize it. They'll treat it like any other coin. And just like that, they lose the chance to keep something valuable. Now, let's think about the bigger picture. Why do some coins become valuable while others don't? It comes down to three things: condition, rarity, and demand. The 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar might not be rare in general, but high-grade examples are. Error coins are. And coins with exceptional quality are. And when collectors want those coins, the value increases. That's how a simple 50-cent coin can become something much more. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Opportunities like this are easy to miss because they don't look obvious. There's no big sign telling you a coin is valuable. There's no warning before you spend it. It looks like every other coin. And that's why so many valuable coins disappear. They're hiding in plain sight. Right now, there are coins sitting in jars, drawers, and pockets. Some of them are ordinary, but some of them are not. And the only difference is whether someone takes the time to look. So, before you ignore that 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar, stop, look closely, check the details, look for shine, search for anything unusual, because that one coin could be worth far more than you think. And once you spend it, there's no going back. Someone else will find it. Someone else will recognize it. And they'll be the one who benefits, not you. So, the next time you see a half-dollar, don't assume it's just change. Take a second. Check it carefully. Because hidden value is everywhere. But only a few people ever see it. Fire money bag. Stop, don't scroll. Because that 1990 S. Kennedy half-dollar you might have seen or even own could be far more valuable than you think. And most people miss it completely. Every day, rare and collectible coins are ignored. People assume newer coins don't matter. They think value only exists in very old coins. But that mistake is exactly why opportunities get lost. The 1990 S. Kennedy half-dollar is different. This coin was not made for everyday use. It was produced in San Francisco, marked with an S, and most of these coins were struck as proof coins. That means they were specially made for collectors with extra care, sharper details, and a mirror-like finish. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins escape their original sets. They end up in circulation, mixed in with normal coins where no one expects them. And when that happens, most people don't recognize what they're holding. They see a half-dollar and nothing more. But collectors see something completely different. Because proof coins are not ordinary. They are made using polished dies and specially prepared surfaces. The result is a coin that looks almost like a mirror. The background is highly reflective, and the design appears frosted. If you tilt the coin under light, it shines differently than a normal coin. That's your first clue. If you ever see a 1990 half-dollar with a strong shine and an S mint mark, stop. Do not ignore it, because you might be holding a proof coin, and proof coins can be worth much more than face value, especially if they are in excellent condition. Now here's the part most people miss. Condition still matters, even for proof coins. A perfect coin with no scratches, no marks, and strong detail is far more valuable than one that's been handled or damaged. Even a small scratch can reduce value significantly. That's why collectors are so careful. Because once the surface is damaged, that original beauty is gone. But there's something even more important. Errors. Yes, even proof coins can have errors. And when they do, they become extremely desirable. Imagine a proof coin with doubling in the letters or a strange mark from the minting process. These are rare, and rarity is what drives value. But here's the problem. Most people don't check. They don't look closely. They don't know what they're seeing. So they spend the coin or leave it unnoticed, and just like that, they lose something valuable. Now think about this. How many 1990 S coins are sitting in collections never touched, and how many have been removed, mixed into circulation, forgotten? Those are the coins you want to find, because they're hidden. And hidden coins are opportunities, but only for those who pay attention. Because this isn't about luck. It's about awareness. Right now, there are coins in the world that are worth more than their face value, but they look completely normal. And that's why they're missed. That's why they're spent. That's why they disappear. But you don't have to be one of those people. You can check. You can look closely. You can spot the difference. And that one decision could change everything. So, the next time you see a 1990 Kennedy half dollar, look for the S. Check the shine. Examine the details. Because if it looks like a mirror, you might be holding a proof coin, and that coin could be worth far more than 50 cents. But if you ignore it, if you spend it, if you don't check, you'll never know what you lost, and someone else will find it. So don't rush. Don't assume. Don't ignore. Because hidden value is everywhere, but only a few people ever see it. Fire money bag. Stop. Don't ignore this coin. Because that 1984 D. Kennedy half dollar you might have right now could be hiding more value than you think. And most people never even look. Every day, coins are spent without a second thought. People see 50 cents and nothing more. But what they don't realize is that some of these coins carry hidden value, and once they're gone forever. The 1984 D. Kennedy half dollar was minted in Denver, marked with a small d under the date. Millions were produced, which makes most people believe it's common. But here's the truth. Common doesn't mean worthless, because not all coins are the same. And the difference between a normal coin and a valuable one is in the details. First, you need to look at condition. A worn coin with scratches and faded details is usually just worth face value. But a coin that still looks sharp, clean, and almost untouched can be something completely different. Collectors are always searching for coins in high condition. Coins with strong detail, smooth surfaces, and original shine. These are known as high-grade coins, and they can be worth much more. Now think about this. This coin is decades old. Most examples have been used, dropped, and scratched over time. That means finding one in near-perfect condition is not easy, and that rarity creates value. But condition is only one part of the story. Because the real hidden value often comes from something unexpected. Errors. Mint errors happen during production. These are mistakes made when the coin is struck, and they can turn an ordinary coin into something special. Look closely at your 1984 D half dollar. Do you see any doubling in the letters or numbers? Do parts of the design look slightly duplicated? That could be a doubling error. Is the design slightly off-center? Does the coin look misaligned? That could be an off-center strike. Are there unusual lines or cracks on the surface? Those could be die cracks, another type of error. To most people, these look like damage, but to collectors, they can mean value. And here's the problem. Most people don't check. They don't look closely. They don't understand what they're seeing. So they spend the coin or ignore it completely. And just like that, they lose something valuable. Now, here's something even more important. Luster. When a coin is freshly minted, it has a bright, reflective shine. Over time, that shine fades as the coin circulates. But if you find a 1984 D half dollar that still has that original shine, that's a sign it hasn't been used much. And that's exactly what collectors want. Because once that shine is gone, it never comes back. And coins with strong luster stand out. Now imagine finding a coin from 1984, and it still looks brand new. That's not common. And that's where the opportunity is. But there's another factor most people overlook. Demand. Collectors are always searching for the best examples. The cleanest coins, the sharpest details, the rarest errors. And when they find them, they're willing to pay more. That's how a simple 50-cent coin can become something much more valuable. But here's the reality. Most people will never find these coins. Not because they don't exist, but because they don't look. They assume. They ignore. They spend. And once that happens, it's over. The opportunity is gone. And someone else will find that coin. Someone else will recognize it. And they'll be the one who benefits. So, the next time you see a 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar, don't treat it like ordinary change. Stop. Look closely. Check the details. Search for anything unusual. Because hidden value doesn't announce itself. It doesn't stand out. It hides in plain sight. And the only people who find it are the ones who take the time to look. So, before you spend that coin, ask yourself, what if it's worth more? Because once it's gone, you'll never know what you lost. Fire money bag. Stop, don't ignore this coin. Because that 1971 Kennedy half-dollar you might have right now could be hiding something most people never notice. Every single day, coins are spent without a second thought. People see 50 cents and move on. But what if that coin isn't just 50 cents? What if it's something more, and you're about to let it go forever? The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most misunderstood coins. Many people believe it's just common. Nothing special. Nothing valuable. But here's the truth. That belief is exactly why valuable coins get missed. 1971 was the first year that Kennedy half-dollars were made without silver for regular circulation. That means most of these coins are made from copper nickel, not silver. And because of that, people assume there's no value. But they're wrong. Because value isn't only about silver. It's about rarity, condition, and mistakes. Let's start with condition. Heavily worn 1971 half-dollar is usually worth face value. But a coin that still looks clean, sharp, and almost untouched is a completely different story. Collectors are always searching for high-grade coins. Coins with strong details, smooth surfaces, and original shine. Now think about this. This coin is over 50 years old. Most of them have been used, scratched, and worn over time. That means truly clean examples are much harder to find. And that scarcity creates demand. But here's where things get interesting. There are special versions of this coin. Coins that were made for collectors, not circulation. These coins often have sharper details, better surfaces, and a completely different look. If one of these coins ends up outside its original set, most people won't recognize it. They'll treat it like a normal coin. And that's where the opportunity is. Now, let's talk about something that can turn an ordinary coin into something valuable. Errors. Mint errors happen during production. They are mistakes, but to collectors, they are opportunities. Look closely at your 1971 half-dollar. Do you see any doubling in the letters or numbers? Does the design look slightly duplicated? Is the coin off-center? Does part of the design look shifted or missing? Are there unusual lines or cracks on the surface? These small details can mean everything. But here's the problem. Most people don't know what to look for. They think it's damage. They think it's worthless. So they ignore it or spend it. And just like that, they lose something valuable. Now, here's something even more important. Luster. When a coin is freshly made, it has a bright, original shine. Over time, that shine fades. But if you find a 1971 half-dollar that still has strong luster, that's a sign it hasn't been used much. And that's exactly what collectors want. Because once that shine is gone, it never comes back. Now, imagine holding a coin from 1971 and it still looks brand new. That's not common. And that's where the real value can be hiding. But let's take this even further. Why do some coins become valuable while others don't? It comes down to three things. Condition, rarity, demand. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar might seem common, but high-quality examples are not. Error coins are not. Special collector versions are not. And when collectors compete to find the best coins, prices go up. That's how a simple 50-cent coin can become something much more. But here's the truth. Most people will never find these coins. Not because they don't exist, but because they don't look. They don't check. They don't pay attention. And that's why valuable coins disappear every day. They are spent, forgotten, lost, and once they're gone, there's no way to get them back. Now think about your own coins. How many times have you seen a $50 and ignored it? How many times have you spent one without even looking? What if one of those coins was worth more? What if you missed it without even knowing? That's the reality. Opportunities like this don't look obvious. They don't stand out. They hide in plain sight, and only the people who take the time to look ever find them. So, the next time you see a 1971 Kennedy $50, don't rush. Don't assume. Stop and check. Look at the details. Look for shine. Look for anything unusual. Because that one coin could be worth far more than you think. And once you spend it, someone else will find it. Someone else will recognize it. And they'll be the one who benefits. So don't ignore it. Don't miss it. Because hidden value is everywhere. But only a few people ever see it fire money bag.